Obama made a surprise appearance in the White House briefing room, and he made his first comments after the not guilty verdict in the George Zimmerman trial.
If a white male teen was involved in the same kind of scenario, that from top to bottom, both the outcome and the aftermath might have been different.
All right, the president said that this would be different if the teenager had been white. But the bigger issue is that race was not a part of the trial. It wasn't a part of the FBI. They said they couldn't find any racial issue here. The trial judge didn't bring it up. Prosecution didn't bring it up. Why does the president bring it up and attach it? Why didn't he stand above it and say, race is an issue, we need to talk about it, but let's not tie it to Trayvon Martin. That's not the question in Trayvon Martin. That's a whole different kettle of fish.
Well, because I think clearly he didn't believe that, and I think there are lots of people who do believe that race was a big part of this case.
Does he know more than the FBI and the prosecutor and the judge in that case?
I think what Obama is saying is that as a black man, yes. I think what Obama is saying, and I think that he has the right to say this as a black president, that he does know more. He does have a special insight into this case than perhaps other people. Look, if George Bush can run around saying, don't mess with Texas, then I think Obama is allowed to run around saying, stop messing with black male children. And I think that's all he did here.
Kara, I'm going to let you, I'm just going to turn you loose.
Okay. You know, I looked at this with great sadness as I watched this unfold yesterday live from my office in Washington, and I said to myself, how dare the President of the United States lower himself to the same level of these race merchants who are out here trying to gin up race relations in a way that is just absolutely inaccurate and not true. This is beneath the office of the presidency. No, he's the President of the United States. He's not the black president. He didn't run that way. He ran as a man who was supposed to transcend race. No one was supposed to talk about him as a black man. He's supposed to transcend race. And this was a missed opportunity for him to come in and say, you know what? This case was not about race. This case was about the rule of law. The case didn't, actually, he never should have commented on the first place. It's a local case, and he should have kept quiet about it.
He's not the president of just black people.
No, he's not, but you just said he was.
He's not the president of just black people.
He sure was yesterday.
A black president.
He was the president of black people yesterday afternoon.
He is not the president of just black people, but he is a black president. And as a black president, he had something to say about this. And I don't think that it's right to say that he's not allowed to speak about it.
I didn't think he's not allowed to speak about it. I just thought it was beneath the office of the presidency for him to reject race that way.
Ellie, I just want to ask, would it have been more appropriate for him to talk about the bigger issues that race do play? Disproportionate sentencing, which that does happen in this country, where a young black kid who does fewer drugs than he admitted to doing when he was a teenager will spend more time in prison than he's going to spend in the White House.
You know, I understand that not everybody agrees with me here, but as a parent to a black son, I don't know how many bigger issues you can talk about than black children being followed and shot. This is a big issue
by their own. Are you going to explain to your son that he should be more fearful of his own black males than of white people? Since statistics show the greater chance of him getting killed are by a fellow black male than by a white person?
I think, unfortunately, I have to explain to my son that he will be looked at differently than his white friends.
So why is that?
And that is the sad thing that I think Obama was trying to talk about yesterday.
You know what? That is a reality. It's a sad one. But there also needs to be reflection within the black community as to why that is. Why aren't we fixing that? Why aren't we talking about the fact that there are a majority, these 70+% of black children are born without fathers, the level of poverty, what's going on? Where's the responsibility within the black community? And I think that, not saying that Trayvon Martin deserved to die, and, you know, I don't want anyone sending me hate mail on Twitter about that. It was a tragedy. However, this case right here, where was Barack Obama and Jesse Jackson and all of these other race merchants? Someone used that expression, I love it. Where were they all with what's going on in Chicago, in New York, in any urban city where black-on-black crime happens every single day? They don't want to talk about that at all.
We've got to wrap this segment up, but there's a sound clip I want to play. It is Robert F. Kennedy. It was the night that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis. And I remember that night very well, and I also remember what real leadership looks like in the aftermath of something that was horrible, that was, in fact, a race crime. Absolutely a race crime. And I want to see that because I think it'll put in perspective what we look for when a leader stands up in a moment of crisis. Here's Robert F. Kennedy.
What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another, feeling of justice toward those who still suffer within our country, whether they be white or whether they be black.
That was from a speech in Indianapolis, April the 4th, 1968. Ellie, Tara, thank you both. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
All right, he's running.